Welcome to Zoe Stories. I borrowed my sister's lipstick. Now I'm her prettier twin. I never meant for any of this to happen. It started as a quiet Sunday afternoon, one of those lazy, golden hours where the world outside feels far away and time moves just a little slower. I was alone at home, curled up on the couch with my laptop, pretending to finish an assignment I'd been putting off all week. My girlfriend Emma had gone out to brunch with her friends, promising she'd be back later, whatever that meant in her flexible vocabulary. I figured I had at least 3 hours to kill. Maybe more. But time was never the real danger. I'm Ryan, 22, college student, business major, mostly invisible on campus, painfully average, except for one secret. I'm fascinated with femininity. The softness, the elegance, the bold confidence that women seem to carry in their style. It wasn't something I could explain. It wasn't even something I tried to. But ever since I was 15 and tried on one of my sister's old scarves in secret, I knew there was something in me I didn't fully understand. It wasn't about pretending. It wasn't a joke. It was something real. I'd never told anyone. Not even Emma. Especially not Emma. She was the type of girl who filled every room with laughter. Stunning, bold, magnetic, everything I wasn't. Sometimes I wondered why she even stayed with me. She always said I was sweet, safe, and low drama. That should have been a compliment, but somehow it always sounded like a warning. Like I needed to stay in my box, stay predictable. And inside that box, I kept a million urges I never dared speak aloud. That day, as the sun streamed through the blinds and the house filled with the silence of opportunity, I stood up, heart pounding, and walked toward my sister's old bedroom. Hannah had moved out 2 years ago, but she still left behind a mess of clothes, forgotten shoes, and half-used makeup in the drawers. Mom never touched it. Neither did I, at least not in front of anyone. But today felt different. The hallway was quiet. My fingers trembled slightly as I turned the brass doorknob and slipped inside. The scent of old perfume lingered faintly in the air, sweet, nostalgic, dangerous. I moved slowly, deliberately, opening the vanity drawer with the care of someone handling sacred artifacts. And there it was, a lipstick tube, cherry blossom pink. The label was worn. The cap still had a faint smudge on it. I turned it slowly in my hand, feeling its weight. It looked harmless, simple, but I knew what it meant the moment I twisted it open and saw the shimmering pink shine. I don't know what possessed me, really. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the need to finally feel something true. I raised it to my lips and carefully, slowly began to apply it. The color went on lighter than I expected, but it made my lips glisten. I looked in the mirror, just for a second. My face looked different. Softer. Prettier. Something clicked. I didn't stop there. I found a compact with foundation and powder. I dabbed a little on my cheeks, smoothed it in, just like I'd seen Emma do 1,000 times. My hands shook, but I couldn't stop. A dusty old drawer revealed mascara, eyeliner, blush, all old, but usable. Before I knew it, my reflection was no longer just Ryan. It was something new. Someone beautiful. My heart raced. I felt like I was both flying and drowning, like I was seeing myself clearly for the first time, but in a mirror I wasn't supposed to touch. A mirror meant for someone else. For Hannah. And that's when I saw it. A photo of Hannah and me, twins, technically. Fraternal, not identical. She was the glamorous one, the one everyone noticed. But now, as I looked between my reflection and that photo, something wild flickered in my chest. I didn't look like her. I looked better. Prettier. The lipstick hadn't just changed my face. It had unlocked something. I straightened up, adjusted my hair, posed for a second, and felt a terrifying thrill, like I was being reborn. The sound of the front door creaked. I froze. Blood drained from my face. No, Emma wasn't supposed to be back yet. Panic jolted through me as I heard footsteps in the hallway. My heart was hammering. I scrambled for a makeup wipe, anything to erase the evidence, but I couldn't find one. My fingers fumbled, knocking over a bottle of perfume that hit the floor with a loud clink. The footsteps stopped. Ryan. Emma's voice rang out, unsure but close. I couldn't breathe. Was the door closed? Could she see me? Had she heard the sound? The reflection in the mirror stared back at me. Part Ryan, part something else. Something beautiful. Something I didn't know how to let go of. I stayed frozen, lips shining with cherry blossom pink, heart racing. And deep inside, I didn't know if I wanted to be caught. I didn't move for a full minute. Emma's voice still hung in the air like smoke, fading, uncertain. Ryan. The hallway went quiet again. Maybe she'd stepped into the kitchen. Maybe she hadn't heard anything. Maybe, just maybe, I still had time to undo what I'd done. I stared at myself in the mirror. The makeup was still fresh, the lipstick glowing. My hair, though still short and tousled, suddenly looked purposeful, like one of those androgynous beauty influencers Emma followed. The mascara made my eyes pop, giving them a sultry edge I didn't know I could pull off. I should have wiped it off. That was the logical thing, the safe thing. But instead, I stepped closer to the mirror and touched my lips gently with 2 fingers. The sensation, the slick smoothness, the electric buzz of identity half-formed, made my heart flutter in a way I didn't fully understand.
What was wrong with me?
Why was I lingering in this moment when exposure could destroy everything? Ryan. Emma called again, closer now. I heard a bag rustle, the distinct clack of her boots on the hallway tiles. She was in the house. I was still in Hannah's room, with her lipstick on,
With her makeup on.
I had maybe 30 seconds. I scrambled, pulling open the drawer to find wipes or a remover, anything. But the only thing inside was an old tube of concealer and a dead hairbrush. I swore under my breath, heart pounding. Footsteps. She was outside the door. I thought you were working, she said, the doorknob rattling slightly. I gasped and leapt forward, locking it just in time. I am. I choked out. I was looking for something.
Pause.
In Hannah's room? My mind raced. Yeah, an old textbook. For class. Another pause. Then, okay, weird but fine. I brought coffee. She didn't sound suspicious yet. I looked back at my reflection. My face looked panicked, flushed with adrenaline and guilt. The lipstick suddenly felt like evidence. The mascara like a crime. And yet, I didn't wipe it off. Instead, I reached down and found Hannah's old blush. I dabbed a little on my cheekbones, almost on autopilot, trying to regain control of my breathing. Why am I doing this? I thought. Why does it feel so good, even when it's so risky? Once I was sure Emma had walked away, I slipped out of the room and locked it behind me. I rushed past the hallway mirror, but something made me stop. It was jarring. The reflection didn't scream, drag, or costume. It wasn't even theatrical. It looked natural. Like this version of me could actually exist in the world. Believably.
Passably.
That idea hit harder than I expected. Emma was waiting on the couch with 2 iced coffees and her laptop on her lap, scrolling TikTok. She looked up and smiled. There you are. What were you doing? She asked, sipping her drink. My voice caught. Just digging through some old stuff. Wanted to see if Hannah had any books I could use. She tilted her head, eyes narrowing slightly. Why are you blushing? My face went hot. Am I? You are. She leaned forward playfully. You didn't find something embarrassing in there, did you? An old diary or something scandalous? I forced a laugh, shaking my head too quickly.
No.
Nothing like that. I sat beside her, trying to act casual. But my brain was spinning. I hadn't removed the makeup. I'd only rubbed at the lipstick lightly with my sleeve, enough to dull the shine, but not erase it. If she looked close enough, she'd see. If she kissed me, she'd know. But she didn't. Not yet. We talked for a few minutes, she showed me videos, made jokes, drank her coffee like nothing was out of place. And all the while, I sat there, heart pounding, a secret sitting on my skin like a second identity. Hidden in plain sight. And then she went to the bathroom. As soon as the door clicked shut, I ran. Back to Hannah's room. Back to the mirror. Back to her drawer. I didn't just want to finish the look anymore. I needed to. Over the next hour, I lost myself completely. I picked out one of Hannah's dresses, an off-shoulder blue number she'd worn to some party 2 years ago. It was elegant, but flirty. When I slipped it over my head, it hugged me in all the right places, transforming my silhouette into something dangerously feminine. Then came the shoes. Heels. Nude, 3-inch. They didn't quite fit, but I squeezed into them anyway. The sensation of height, of posture, of walking differently. It was intoxicating. Every click of the heel on the wooden floor echoed like a declaration. You are someone else now. I redid the makeup properly this time. Careful eyeliner, more blush, a fresh coat of the same pink lipstick. It looked even better now, paired with the dress. I didn't look like Ryan in drag. I looked like someone named Rachel. That name bubbled up in my mind uninvited, but it stuck. Rachel. My prettier twin. My secret self. And as I posed in the mirror, awkward at first, then confidently, I realized something terrifying. I liked her. More than that, I envied her. Rachel wasn't nervous around Emma. Rachel didn't feel like an imposter in every room. Rachel could smile, and mean it. She could flirt, tease, walk with hips swaying, not because she was mocking femininity, but because it finally fit. I was still staring when my phone buzzed. Emma's wanna watch something?
I'll pick.
My stomach dropped. Oh God. I lost track of time. I hobbled back to the mirror, struggling to get the heels off without ruining the stockings I'd found. The dress slipped over my head and landed in a heap. I scrubbed at my face with tissues, but the eyeliner smudged instead of disappearing. Panic returned. I pulled on a hoodie and jeans over everything, hoping the makeup wasn't obvious in the dim light. I ran to the bathroom to splash my face, but I froze the moment I saw myself again. Even underneath the hoodie, with my hair messed up and the dress hidden, Rachel lingered in the curve of my smile, in the gloss on my lips I hadn't fully wiped off. And deep down I realized I didn't want her to leave. The next morning, I woke up before Emma. That never happened. She usually set 3 alarms and snoozed through each one, buried under our shared blanket, her dark curls in a perfect mess on the pillow. I just stared at her for a while, heart pounding, not with love, but with guilt. Even now, I could still feel Rachel's ghost clinging to my skin. I tried to wipe everything away the night before, but no amount of soap or water could undo what I'd felt. Once you've seen yourself clearly, once you've tasted a freedom that powerful, it doesn't just vanish. I walked to the bathroom and locked the door. My reflection stared back. Plain old Ryan. Hoodie. Bedhead.
Pale.
And yet, the outline of mascara still faintly rimmed my eyes. A whisper of blush tinted my cheeks. My lips, even scrubbed raw, still looked just a little fuller. I reached into the cabinet under the sink and pulled out the lipstick. Yes, I'd hidden it there the night before, tucked into a box of old allergy meds. I stared at it for a long moment. My hand trembled. This was dangerous. Emma could walk in. We had class soon. I didn't have time, but I twisted the cap anyway. The color gleamed like a secret. Cherry blossom pink. I applied it slowly, precisely just one coat. Just enough to feel the thrill again. Just enough to remind myself that Rachel was still alive. I smiled. And then I wiped it off. Mostly. Emma didn't notice at breakfast. Or maybe she did but didn't say anything. She was quiet that morning. Less bubbly. She kept glancing at me between bites of cereal. Everything okay? I asked. She looked up, blinking. Yeah. Why? You're staring. She hesitated. You look different today. My heart dropped. Different how? She tilted her head. I don't know. Your skin looks really clear. And your lips are, like, pinker than usual. New skincare, or something. I forced a laugh. I guess I'm just glowing. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. And right then, I realized something bone-deep and terrifying. Emma was observant. Too observant. By the time we returned home that evening, the air between us felt off. Not cold, exactly. Just uncertain. Like she was trying to figure out something about me that didn't make sense. I couldn't stop thinking about Rachel. I kept imagining what she looked like in that mirror. How the heels changed my walk. How the eyeliner sharpened my eyes. How the dress hugged curves I didn't know I had. That night, when Emma went to shower, I slipped back into Hannah's room, like a thief returning to the scene of a crime. This time I brought my phone. I redid the full transformation.
Slower.
More precise. Hair brushed forward. Contour added from an old palette I'd found. I experimented with poses, smiling, smirking, innocent, bold. And then, without thinking, I snapped a photo. The image stunned me. Rachel looked real. Flawless.
Alive.
I should have deleted it, but I didn't. The next day, while Emma went grocery shopping, I returned again.
Dress.
Makeup. Heels. It felt natural now. Like brushing my teeth. Like slipping into a version of myself that had always existed just below the surface. I wore a different outfit this time. Hannah's black skirt and a white blouse. I even practiced walking across the hallway and back, heels tapping rhythmically, my posture taller, hips swaying just a little. Every step made my heart race. Not just with fear, but with joy. And then, something terrifying happened. I heard the front door open. I froze. Ryan. Emma's voice rang out. She was back early. 30 minutes early. I glanced at the mirror. I looked nothing like Ryan. I looked completely like Rachel. No time to change. No time to remove anything. I bolted into Hannah's closet, barely squeezing behind the hanging coats and prom dresses. My breath caught in my throat. I crouched down, shaking, heart pounding so loud I was sure she could hear it. Footsteps approached. Ryan, she called again. I heard her walk toward the hallway. Then, silence. I waited. 5 seconds.
10.
30. And then her voice. Closer this time. I thought I saw something. The doorknob jiggled.
Locked.
Of course. I'd locked it out of habit. I held my breath, praying. Then I heard her footsteps retreat. The sound of a phone ringing. Her voice again, more distant this time.
Saved.
But barely. That night, Emma curled into bed beside me, eyes searching mine. You've been acting strange lately, she said. My throat tightened. Strange how? She frowned. I don't know. Secretive. Kind of distracted. Are you okay? I paused. I'm just tired. Stress, probably. She didn't look convinced. You're sure there's nothing you want to tell me? The room felt small. Suffocating. I almost said it. Almost whispered. I've been dressing up in your lipstick. I've become someone else. I think I might love her. But I didn't. Instead, I kissed her forehead, pulled the blanket over us, and lay there in silence, feeling like a liar, a fraud, and yet more alive than ever. Because while Emma slept, Rachel was wide awake. The next time I transformed, it wasn't planned. It was supposed to be a normal Saturday. Emma had gone to her yoga class, and I told her I was staying home to clean and catch up on schoolwork. That was half true. I did open my laptop. But the moment I saw the lipstick still sitting beside my screen, my hands moved on their own. I didn't even hesitate this time. Makeup.
Dress.
Heels. Hair brushed forward. Faster. Smoother. Confident. It took under 30 minutes to become Rachel. She didn't need to be coaxed out anymore. She was waiting. Ready. Hungry. This time, I did something different. I walked out of the room. Not to go outside. Just into the hallway. Then the kitchen. The living room. I twirled in front of the TV. Sipped water by the window. Sat cross-legged on the couch like any other girl might. And in that moment, I didn't feel like I was pretending. I was Rachel. She wasn't a mask or a game. She was a whole person. I pulled out my phone again. Opened the camera. I didn't just take selfies. I recorded a video. I spoke softly to the lens, trying different voices. Higher pitch. Slower rhythm. More playful. Then I tried walking toward the mirror like I was posing in a fashion reel. Heels clicking, hips swaying. The confidence terrified me. And thrilled me. After uploading the clip to my private cloud, I closed the phone and sat with myself. I couldn't go back. And the more I looked in the mirror, the more I believed it. I really did look prettier than Hannah ever had. That afternoon, Emma came home early again. I'd just finished scrubbing the makeup off, but my lips were still faintly stained. My lashes curled upward. My eyebrows a little too neat. She didn't say anything at first. Just stared. "You okay?" I asked, trying not to sound breathless. Emma squinted slightly. "Were you wearing something different earlier?" My blood froze.
What?
She hesitated. "I thought I saw you in a different shirt when I walked in." "Nope. Just this." I tugged at my oversized hoodie, thankful I'd thrown it on in time. She narrowed her eyes. "Weird." That night, we ordered takeout and sat watching Netflix. I could feel her glancing at me during quiet scenes, like she was trying to figure out a puzzle she wasn't sure she wanted to solve. Halfway through the second episode, she paused the show and turned to me. "Ryan." I stiffened. "Yeah. Have you ever felt like you weren't fully yourself?" Her voice was soft. Neutral. My heart dropped. "What do you mean?" "Like,
I don't know.
like maybe you've been hiding a part of yourself? Something you're scared to talk about." I stayed silent. My throat tightened. She gently took my hand. "You can tell me anything, you know that, right?" I nodded slowly, but I said nothing, because I didn't know what terrified me more, telling her the truth, or admitting it to myself. Later that week, it happened. The moment I'd been dreading. I was in Hannah's room, fully dressed as Rachel. Wig on this time, borrowed from a mannequin head she'd left behind. I was filming a slow-motion video of myself walking in heels. And the door creaked open. "Ryan." Emma's voice. I spun around too fast, caught my heel fell sideways with a thud. The camera slipped from my hand and landed on the bed. Silence. Emma was frozen in the doorway, wide-eyed. Mouth open. I tried to speak. Nothing came out. Her gaze swept over me, head to toe. The lipstick.
The dress.
The makeup. The wig. "What is this?" she whispered. I scrambled to stand up. "Emma, I can explain." She held up a hand, backing away.
No. Don't.
"Just don't." The hurt in her eyes was worse than anger. Worse than judgment. It was betrayal. "Were you doing this behind my back this whole time?" she asked, voice cracking. I shook my head. "No, I mean yes. But it's not what you think." "Then what is it?" I opened my mouth, closed it, opened it again. I didn't have the words.
Not yet.
She turned and left the room, slamming the door behind her. And I stood there, half in heels, half in shock, watching the last bit of my safety vanish. That night, she didn't sleep beside me. She stayed on the couch. I heard her crying once. And I cried too. Not just because I'd been caught, but because part of me had hoped, stupidly, foolishly, that she might understand. That she might even like Rachel. That she might love me, all of me. The silence between us was unbearable. For the next 2 days, Emma barely spoke to me. We shared the same space, our apartment, our routines, but we were no longer in the same world. I lived in one filled with shame, guilt, and an ache I couldn't name. She lived in one where trust had shattered. The night after she caught me, I tried to talk. I sat beside her on the couch, dressed plainly, no makeup, no lipstick. Just Ryan. Awkward, nervous Ryan. "Emma," I started. She didn't look at me. Her eyes were on her phone, her thumbs scrolling endlessly.
Please.
"Just let me explain." Her thumb stopped. She spoke without looking up. "Were you going to keep lying to me forever?" I swallowed hard. I wasn't lying. I was hiding. "That's the same thing, Ryan." Silence. I looked down at my hands. "I didn't know how to tell you."
I didn't even know what it meant. She finally looked at me.
Her eyes weren't angry anymore. Just tired. "Do you want to be a woman?" she asked softly. The question struck like lightning. My breath caught in my throat. I don't know," I admitted. "I don't think so. Not completely. It's not like that. It's just when I'm dressed that way, I feel like I'm real." Emma blinked. "Real?" I nodded slowly. "Like I'm not pretending anymore. Like I can breathe." Her expression flickered. Surprise, confusion, then something softer. But why didn't you tell me? We've been together for 2 years, Ryan. Because I was scared, I said, voice cracking. Because I thought you'd leave. She looked away. And in that moment I felt it. She was already halfway gone. That night, I didn't dress up. I didn't sneak back into Hannah's room. I didn't touch the lipstick. But the ache inside me, it stayed. Rachel didn't vanish. She just went quiet. And somehow, that was worse. The next morning, Emma stood by the door with her gym bag. Her eyes were red-rimmed. I need some space, she said. I nodded. Are you staying at your mom's? I asked. She shook her head. Hotel. Just for a couple days. I need time to think. I watched her leave without kissing me goodbye. And for the first time since this all began, the apartment felt wrong without her. Even when I had it all to myself before, when Rachel could emerge freely, it never felt this empty. By midday, I broke. I opened Hannah's room and stepped inside. The mirror greeted me like an old friend. The lipstick waited patiently. The dress, the heels, the wig, they didn't judge. They just fit. When I transformed this time, it wasn't for thrill or play. It was for comfort. For healing. And when I looked in the mirror, I whispered, Rachel, are you all I have left? She stared back at me with painted lips and tear-filled eyes. I didn't expect the knock. It was soft, hesitant. I panicked, tossing the heels off and grabbing a long cardigan to hide the dress. I peeled the wig halfway off before cracking the front door open. It was Hannah, my sister. I blinked in shock. Hannah? What are you? Mom said Emma called me, she said. She was crying. She didn't say much. Just said you needed someone. My throat closed. I glanced down, forgetting the makeup was still smeared on my face. Her eyes widened slightly. Are you wearing my lipstick? I opened the door wider. She stepped inside slowly, taking in my look. Her eyes didn't harden. They didn't judge. They just tried to understand. Do you want to talk about it? She asked. And that's when I broke. I told her everything. From the moment I found the lipstick to the video Emma saw. The thrill, the fear, the guilt, the transformation, the name, Rachel. Hannah sat quietly through it all, nodding, sometimes leaning forward, sometimes holding her breath. When I finally stopped talking, she said nothing for a while. Then she smiled gently. Well, first of all, she said, you're lucky you picked my good lipstick. I laughed, a dry, cracked sound, but it felt like breathing again. You're not mad. Why would I be mad? She said. Honestly, you looked amazing in that video. Emma sent it to me. I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I did. My stomach turned. You saw? She nodded. And yeah, you were kind of stunning. That surprised me more than anything. I always felt like you got the quiet, thoughtful genes, she continued. And I got the glam. But maybe Rachel had both. For the first time, someone knew, really knew, and didn't leave. I hugged Hannah tightly. She hugged me back. When she pulled away, she wiped my smeared mascara and said, let me teach you how to really contour. You've been doing it all wrong. For the next 24 hours, Hannah stayed with me. She didn't make it weird. She didn't treat me like a stranger or a freak. She asked questions, gentle ones, and helped me experiment with makeup in ways I never had the courage to try before. It was bonding, but it was also more than that. It was affirming. Rachel wasn't just a side of me anymore. She was becoming real. We laughed over how terrible my eyeliner technique was. She made me try on outfits I never thought I could pull off, jeans that hugged my hips, crop tops that showed off a body I barely recognized as mine. She even gave me her old perfume, teasing, if you're going to be me, you might as well smell like me. But it wasn't about being her anymore. Rachel didn't feel like a copy. She felt like herself. And I felt more whole than I had in years. On the second evening, after Hannah went out to pick up food, I stood in front of the mirror fully transformed. Wig styled. Makeup perfect. Dress light and flowy. A soft pink lip, not the cherry blossom today. I looked confident. More than that, comfortable. I turned slightly to the side and snapped a picture. Then another. Then a video. Hi, I said into the camera, trying my voice again. I'm Rachel. And this is me. I watched the video back. It felt right. I opened my cloud folder and uploaded it. Then, I don't know why, impulse maybe, I clicked a button I hadn't dared touch before.
Public.
I uploaded the video as unlisted on a secret account.
Just for me.
Just for strangers who didn't know Ryan, but who might accept Rachel. 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang. I assumed it was Hannah with the food. Still dressed, still in heels, I opened the door. It wasn't Hannah. It was Emma. She froze. I froze. She looked me up and down, lip to heel, mascara to padded hips, and her breath caught in her throat. She whispered, like finishing the sentence would break something. I tried to speak. Emma, She stepped back. You really went all the way. I nodded.
Slowly.
I wanted to explain, I said. I didn't mean for you to find out like that.
But now,
I don't want to lie anymore. She stared for a long time. Then she laughed, but it wasn't joy. It was hurt. Disbelief. You look like a completely different person, she said, voice tight. You even walk differently. It's still me. Her eyes glistened. Is it?
I didn't know how to answer.
I don't know who I'm more mad at, she continued, voice cracking. You for keeping this from me or me for not noticing sooner. Emma, I thought I knew you. I thought we were honest. We are, I said, stepping forward. Now we are. She stared at me, really stared, and I could see her face change, pain twisting into something else. Not anger.
Fear.
You know it's crazy, she whispered. You're actually kind of beautiful like this. The words hit me like a wave. I wasn't sure if it was a compliment or a warning. But it doesn't feel like you love me anymore, she added, stepping back. It feels like you're falling in love with her. I swallowed. I'm trying to understand it too. You lied, Ryan. Every day. I was scared. She nodded, slowly, then turned and walked away, again. This time, I didn't try to stop her. I closed the door and slid down to the floor, my hands shaking. My heart broke, but not cleanly. It shattered into pieces, because even through the pain, one thought refused to leave my head. She called me beautiful. Hannah came back a few minutes later. She took one look at my face and knew. She saw. I nodded, and she left. Hannah sat beside me in silence. We didn't speak for a while. Then she said softly, So, what are you going to do now? I looked down at my painted nails, and for the first time I said it aloud. I think I'm going to be me, whoever that really is. Later that night, I checked the secret video I'd uploaded. It had 12 views. And one comment. You're beautiful. Don't hide. The next day, I woke up early. Not as Ryan. Not entirely as Rachel, either. Just somewhere in between. And that was okay. But the universe wasn't done with me yet. At noon, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was from the cloud service. I'd accidentally linked my private folder to my public school drive. The Rachel video was now shared with everyone in my communications class. The moment I saw the email, my blood turned to ice. Shared file, Rachel introduction, MP4 is now visible to all members of COM 302, Digital Media Identity. I gasped, clicked the link, my fingers trembling. It was too late. The video, the one I filmed in full Rachel mode, soft voice and all, was there.
Public.
Wide open. My professor. My classmates. Everyone. 12 views was now 47. I slammed the laptop shut. Panic erupted inside me. I couldn't breathe.
Couldn't think.
The room spun. I paced in circles trying to figure out what to do. Should I delete the file? Email everyone? Play it off as a prank? But then I heard it. A ding. Then another. And another. My phone lit up with notifications. Texts. Emails. Group chat pings. Dude, is that really you? You look fire, not gonna lie. Is this like for class or for real?
Wait.
That's not your twin? I dropped the phone. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't grip it. My secret wasn't just out. It was exploding. I ran to the bathroom and locked the door. Stared at myself in the mirror. Not dressed up. No makeup. Just Ryan. But my reflection wasn't just Ryan anymore. I could still see her. Rachel. Hiding behind the eyes, the lips, the curve of the cheekbones I used to ignore. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to disappear. But then I looked deeper. And I saw something I didn't expect. Strength. Rachel didn't look afraid. She looked like she was daring the world to say something. The next morning, I didn't skip class. I wanted to. I almost did. But something in me said no. If this was going to burn, I'd walk through the fire standing tall. I dressed carefully. Not as Rachel. Not fully as Ryan. Just me. Slim jeans. A fitted tee. Light concealer. Tamed brows. Subtle lip gloss. Hair brushed forward. I looked like neither. Or maybe both. When I walked into class, conversation stopped. People turned. Whispers buzzed. I kept walking. Sat in the middle of the room. Professor Klein glanced up and hesitated for just a second, but then continued his setup like nothing happened. And slowly, the whispers faded. After class, someone tapped my shoulder. I turned. It was Jasmine, one of the top students in our program. She smiled gently. Hey, I saw the video. My heart stopped.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to share it. She tilted her head. Well, I'm glad you did. I blinked. You looked really confident, she said. Honestly, I wish I could be that brave. I stared at her. And for the first time in what felt like days, I smiled. Later, outside the building, a couple other classmates gave me nods. One guy clapped me on the shoulder and said, "Respect." Another girl asked where I got the wig. It wasn't a parade of praise. It wasn't mockery either. It was recognition. And somehow that was enough. That evening, Emma texted me, "Can we talk?" I stared at the screen for a long time, then typed,
Yes.
"Come over." She arrived just after sunset. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Sweats and sneakers. I met her at the door, dressed exactly like I had for class. Not Rachel. Not hiding. Just in between. She looked at me for a long time. "You're not pretending anymore," she said. I nodded. "I never wanted to pretend," I said softly. "I just didn't know how to be me." She stepped inside. We sat on the couch, close, but not touching. She took a deep breath. "I was angry," she said. "But not because of what you wore." I looked at her. She continued, "I was angry because you didn't trust me with the truth." I didn't even trust myself. She nodded slowly. I needed space. To think. To figure out what I was really feeling. I braced myself. Then she added, and I realized, "I missed you." My breath caught. "I missed the way you make coffee for both of us even when I say I don't want any. I missed how you overreact during horror movies. I missed the way you talk to yourself when you're stressed." Tears blurred my eyes. "I missed you too," I whispered. She looked at me gently. "So, are you Rachel now? All the time?" I paused. "I'm still figuring that out. But she's part of me. And she's not going away." Emma nodded. "Then maybe we can figure it out together." I blinked. "You mean?" She reached out and took my hand. "You never stopped being mine. Just evolved." That night, I stood in front of the mirror again, dressed halfway between Ryan's jawline, Rachel's softness, and somewhere in between, I finally saw me. Not pretending, not hiding, just whole. The next morning, I posted a new video. This time, on purpose. A soft introduction. Full face of makeup. Hairstyled. Light music. One ring light behind the camera. And me, not as Ryan, not entirely as Rachel, but something new. "Hi. I wasn't sure I'd ever post something like this," I said to the lens. "But the truth is, I've been hiding behind a lot of things, expectations, fear, and maybe even love. But I'm tired of hiding."
Pause.
Deep breath. This is me. I don't have all the answers yet. I don't know what I'll look like tomorrow. But I know this version? She's real. And she's not ashamed anymore. I looked into the lens and smiled. Then I clicked upload. Within the hour, comments flooded in. You're glowing. This is the bravest thing I've seen in a long time. Subscribed. Please keep sharing. I wish I had your courage. Each one warmed me, calmed the parts of me still scared. Hannah messaged. Queen. Even Emma texted. Proud of you. Call me after. It felt like I was breathing for the first time, until I got the notification. New comment on. The final upload. But this one wasn't praise. It was chilling. You stole her life. Let's see how far you're willing to go to keep it. My heart skipped. The username was random, just numbers and letters. No profile picture. No other activity. I tried to brush it off. Just a troll. But another comment followed, seconds later. You're not her. You're just pretending. But you'll learn what real transformation costs. And then another. You think wearing her lipstick makes you her? She didn't need it anymore. But now you will. I stared at the screen. My hands began to shake. I clicked the user profile. It led nowhere.
Dead link.
Deleted? Fake? I closed the laptop, but my phone buzzed immediately. An email. No subject. Just one sentence. I've seen everything. You're next. I dropped the phone. The room felt cold. Like someone was watching me. I turned toward the window. Nothing outside. I checked the hallway. Empty. But something had shifted. Like Rachel wasn't the only secret I'd let loose into the world. That night, I lay in bed unable to sleep. My reflection in the mirror across the room caught my eye, half-shadowed, half-lit. She looked like Rachel, but something felt wrong. Her expression wasn't mine. Wasn't soft. Wasn't scared. It was smiling. Almost mocking. I blinked, and the smile vanished. But I knew what I saw. And I knew, deep down, this wasn't over.